I'm James Turk. I'm a director of the GoldMoney Foundation, and it's my pleasure to be here today with Philipp Vorndran, the director of Flossbach von Storch, one of Germany's leading investment management firms. Philipp, thank you for being with me here today. I know you just made a trip to the other side of the Atlantic and visited the United States. Can you share with us some of your observations and conclusions from that trip?
Yeah, it was a very wide range of observations. The most impressive to me on the economic side was first of all the depressed sentiment. People told me, well, Philipp, the situation is really disastrous. We have to tighten our belts for the next 3 to 4 years. We shouldn't expect any help from the guys in Washington, but we will survive. We are entrepreneurs. And that's something, a kind of message I hoped for, because from Europe you were wondering whether this kind of entrepreneurial spirit has diminished in the States. And then I made a very personal observation. When we were traveling through Washington, we met some folks ahead of the US Treasury holding some paper boards with comments like, "Stop Hurricane Timmy," "Downgrade Geithner," "15 trillion in debt," "priceless." And I was deeply impressed. I asked them what kind of political organization they are belonging to, and they told me, no, we are not from the Republicans or from the Tea Party. They are all too conservative in our view. We are just young people, and we want to stop this creation of debt, because it's our future. These politicians are spending our future. Please sign. I first told them, yeah, I'm a German. I am allowed to sign. Yes, that's a global issue, and it was a pleasure for me to sign. So that's something which was very impressive to me, because I don't find people like them ahead of the treasury departments in Germany or in Austria or in France. Our youth has not yet realized how deep this problem is for them going forward.
It is a global problem, and it's encouraging to hear that the American spirit is still alive in the business community as well. You see, though, increasing government regulations. Now they're talking about various taxes. Here in Europe, the EU has proposed this financial transactions tax. Isn't that going to hurt economic activity?
Yeah, of course it is. We're in the midst of financial repression. These governments have to think about how to solve the debt situation. They are fully aware that they never ever will solve it via growth, nor via bankruptcy, and also not by making huge austerity messages. Because whenever people are debating austerity austerity as the solution of all that problem, they refer to situations we have seen in Asia or in Scandinavia that were very ring-fenced problems, where one country, by saving a lot of social system costs, were able to grow finally by a beggar your neighbor policy, devaluation of the currency. That's not possible today. So the austerity as the foundation of getting rid of debt is not an option in our view, and we will end up with financial repression. Increasing of debt is only solvable if you have higher taxes with corporations, with savers, with banks. They will implement capital controls. They will implement some kind of interest cap. The Fed is already doing that. They have to get their costs for the government for solving the debt situation as low as possible. And of course, sooner or later, they have to think about getting rid of alternative asset classes where people are trying to hide their savings in, like gold, for example.
Yeah. What is the probability, in your view, that the debt problem will be solved? Or do you think it's just going to be so overwhelming that ultimately they will print and print and print and solve the debt problem by debasing the currency?
Yeah, that's a kind of solution too.
Yeah.
Look, what did the US during 1942 and 1954? They made a mixture, a mixed basket of measures. They kept the interest, they had some decent growth, and of course they had inflation. So via a negative real interest rate, the debt problems were fading from above 130% indebtedness relative to GDP to below 70% within 12 years. Something like that, we think, will happen. So a combination of inflation, a combination of higher taxes, of capital controls will enable the government to fade their debt situation within the next 20 years.